Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Project Nourish podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Megan Gump, a certified nutritional therapy practitioner and Restart instructor.
And I'm Casey Poe Campbell, a nutritional therapy practitioner and licensed esthetician. We're here to bring you a podcast all about health, wellness, holistic nutrition, functional medicine, and non-toxic living.
As a disclaimer, topics discussed and recommendations given in this podcast are not to treat or cure any disease. We as NTPs want to discover and address your underlying health symptoms using nutritional therapy and functional medicine.
Well, hello, my friend. How is your day going? What's new with you?
Hey, Casey. My day is going good. So as you may or may not notice in my voice, I've actually been a little under the weather. So it was funny because I think last week or the week before I was talking about how, knock on wood, I hadn't caught this flu yet. And knock on wood again, I still have not. But definitely on Sunday, I had a little bit of a sore throat. And then on Monday, I woke up and I was like, oh, wow, am I going to call into work? It was definitely the sore throat was worse. My ears were actually hurting. My head was hurting. I was just achy, not feeling super good. So I was really nervous about what that could turn into. And I basically just started overdosing on vitamin C, vitamin A, elderberry syrup. I'm actually even taking like silver psyllium. So it's kind of like a colloidal silver. I'm taking the Immunotone by Designs for Health. So it's got some reishi mushrooms in there and some other mushrooms and some other vitamins and minerals. So basically just really kicking my immune system into gear. So Monday was not super hot. Tuesday was not either. And then today I actually woke up and feeling a little bit better. So I'm really excited about that. And it's really just about being very, very vigilant about self-care and making sure that you're dosing up on lots of vitamins and minerals and eating super clean, healthy food, and just basically supporting yourself and honoring your body and really trying to listen to what you need. So thank God I have started to feel better. But that's kind of been my week and where I'm at. So
got it. Yeah, I was feeling a bit under the weather over like Sunday and Monday a little bit too. So I was doing something a little bit different. I have this stuff called Kick-Ass Immune. I have no idea what's in it, but it tastes awful, which makes me know that it works really good. And then I was also, and I saw you had a post about this too, drinking tons of bone broth.
Yeah, I was drinking bone broth this morning. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I took some pretty good diggers snowboarding on Sunday. So I figured that would also help with my angry joints as well that got beat up snowboarding.
Yeah. It won't do anything to anything but agitate them. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't get, as sick as it sounds like I might've got. So yeah, no. That's good.
I'm glad you're feeling better though.
Thanks, girl. Yeah, me too. Anything else new going on in your world?
Yeah, so something really cool that I found out I get to be a part of last night actually is with Beautycounter, I am going to be one of the local team leaders for people that are going to meet with Representative Jared Paulus here in Boulder County. And I think he covers a couple of other counties as well. So it's really cool. Myself and another consultant who is in Fort Collins, actually, we are going to set up the meeting for local consultants so we can go and meet with someone from his office to advocate for more protective personal care product laws. So super exciting about that. I figured it was very timely with our podcast episode today that this is going to be happening in March, that we just, we're actually going out there and meeting with the representatives who are able to make the change happen.
Casey, that is awesome. I am so happy for you, girl. That is super exciting.
Yeah, I was so excited to see the email that I was selected as one of the local leaders. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Super cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of hard work put into that. So I'm just so proud of you and I'm so happy for you. And
well, thank you.
Yeah. And I'm just so excited to see this in action and, see the change that will be brought forth because of this. The energy is definitely being put into safer skincare laws. And so I'm just really excited to see what happens in the next couple months, in the next couple of years.
Sure.
Yeah, something's going to happen. And it's really cool that you get to be a part of it. So
yeah. And apparently this representative is pro kombucha. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. Me too. It makes me
Yeah.
like him even more. That's awesome. Well, that's super cool, girl. You'll have to catch us up in the next
Oh,
couple
yeah,
of weeks on how that goes.
for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
will definitely keep you guys posted.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, I mean, that definitely ties right in with what Casey and I had planned to talk about today. So we are basically going to talk all about basically just how toxic this world is.
Mhm.
So, we live in a really, really, really toxic world. And unfortunately, that's just the way that it is. So, it's basically knowing where you can get exposed to these toxins and how you can limit them in your life and basically lighten your toxic load.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you got to think about it from the houses that we live in, the mold that could be in those houses, the lights, the LEDs that are in those houses, to the food that we eat that could be sprayed with pesticides and other chemicals, to the water that we drink. If you guys aren't drinking filtered water and you're exposing yourself to tap water, the prescription medications and antibiotics and other metals and just junk that can be in our water. I won't even, start to go there because that could be a whole nother rant. But and then as well as like the air that we breathe, there's factories around us and just other things that put chemicals in the air, and whether you can see them or not, they're there.
Yeah.
From cars driving around us, getting in your vehicle, sitting in traffic. I mean, it's everywhere, guys. So Casey and I really just want to take a moment to talk a little bit about today about what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And, to your point, Megan, there's so much that we cannot control. So we can't really control the air that we breathe. We're limited on what we can do with the water that we drink and just our toxic exposures every day. So that's why it's so incredibly important to take control of the things that we actually can control. So the products that we put on our bodies, the cleaning products that we use every day, the products that we store our food in. All of these things absolutely make a difference and lighten our toxic load.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Yep. Yeah. I mean, exactly what Casey was saying. You can control what food you go to the grocery store and buy. You can control what you put on your body and in your body every day. And of course, you can control other factors like where you live, how far you commute to work, how much traffic you're sitting in, how big of a city you live in. But those are kind of other factors that obviously take a little bit more just restraints with, what you can do with your job and your family and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But still doing what you can at the end of the day is really important. So even if it's living outside of the city versus right in the middle of a big city, that kind of stuff, it really
Yeah.
makes a huge difference on our lives.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just to, I guess, kick this episode off a little bit more, we wanted to share some scary facts with you
Mm-hmm.
guys because nothing to make you listen better. So in America, there is a stat that says 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men will have cancer at some point in their lives. So let that just sink in, guys, for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, super scary.
Yeah, and I think um, a little bit more scary about that fact is that the 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men will be diagnosed with cancer, but this is in part due to exposure to environmental chemicals in our everyday lives.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just not like that's not a stat that's like the statistics of, oh, my grandma had breast cancer, I'm more likely to get it. It's like, no, those are the cancer genes that are turned on by exposure to environmental toxins.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So another scary stat, this is kind of like one of my favorites. It takes 26 seconds for the chemicals in your personal care products to enter your bloodstream.
Yeah.
26 seconds. So I know in a couple episodes ago, we talked about how our skin is our largest organ. So everything that we put on our skin goes into our body.
Mm-hmm.
It gets, our liver processes those chemicals, everything else excretes them and passes them through. Our bloodstream obviously filters that kind of stuff as well. So you got to be really cautious about what you're putting on your body and the chemicals that are in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, so often it's just overlooked that our skin is actually an organ because we would never knowingly put something that is harmful or toxic on our heart or our brain. but we slather ourselves in personal care products every day that have potentially toxic ingredients
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah, I
them.
mean, I don't know why I was thinking about this when you just said that, but it's kind of like if we were to, I know this is might be a little gross, but if you think about like cutting yourself open and like holding your stomach or holding your heart, like you would protect that with like all of your life, right?
Yeah.
Until you got somewhere where someone could put it back inside your body and sew it back up. You wouldn't want anything to touch it. You wouldn't want anything to get exposed onto it. You would want to keep it clean. And that should be the same thought process that we have for our skin.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we should all be so conscious about what is in my toothpaste, what is in my shampoo, my conditioner, my body wash, my face wash. What are these things in my laundry detergent, it's in everything, you
Mhm.
guys. And I mean, I know food is of course a huge thing that we can control as well. It's really important. So we need to look at like why it's so important in buying organic, grass-fed, pasture-raised, meats and other animals, as well as doing organic fruits and vegetables versus the conventional ones that are sprayed with pesticides. And I mean, that's just why it's so important.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah, so another scary fact is 1938. So that was the last year that a major law was passed in the personal care products industry. Crazy.
that's a
I
long
mean,
time ago.
that was what, 80 years ago? I can't do the math. More than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. 2018. Well, Megan will do the math real quick.
Yeah, it was. It's about 80. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
80-ish years
give it,
ago.
yeah. Yeah.
So I know that when I was looking for kind of just a comparison of what 1938 looked like, women had only been allowed to vote for 9 years
Wow.
at that point. And that was the last time that a law was passed. And since that time, there have been 80,000 different chemicals or new chemicals introduced to the market, and less than 10% of those have been tested for human safety.
And they're putting all of those 80,000 chemicals in our beauty and skincare products.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they only know what 10% of them do to our human bodies.
Yeah, or 10% of them have been tested. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, think about the cars that people were driving in 1938. Like, it's if you were to
Yeah.
look at a car from 1938 on the road now, sitting next to your 2018, Chevy Equinox or whatever you're driving,
Yeah.
it's a huge difference. So just imagine the chemicals and the concoctions and the poisons and the potions that they've come up with to put in your lipstick to make it stick on longer, or
Yeah.
to put on a cucumber so it doesn't rot as soon. Like, that's nuts, you guys.
Yeah.
Scary.
And
It's
our
really scary.
last scary stat, speaking
Mm-hmm.
of lipstick,
Yeah.
so lead was banned in paint. So like the paint that's in our houses, on our houses, all of that, it was banned in paint in 1978. However, it can still be in your lipstick, which is something obviously you're putting on your lips. You end up eating some lipstick just as it comes off when you're taking a drink. But even more scary, it's like you kiss your loved ones and you have lipstick on and you are transferring those toxic ingredients to your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think about how often us ladies lick our lips when we have lipstick on.
Yeah.
It's like, you're just eating that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I mean, I joke with my husband that, it's like, well, the life insurance is in my name. So
oh gosh.
bad
Yeah.
joke. So yes, all the more reason to be cognizant of the products that you use, your
Mhm.
personal care products, and just, what you're using in your home.
Yeah. And I mean, we're going to talk about it in a little bit later, but I mean, I guess I just want to take a moment and kind of share my story on how I really like opened up my eyes to this, beauty care industry and the toxins that everything, that we are exposed to in them. So I was using like a pretty well-known green company that is all like plant and science based, and I was like, oh, I'm doing so good with my face wash and my facial regimen. And Casey was actually the first one who introduced me to the fact that she was like, I know you're using a pretty green, clean, air quotes, company to wash your face and for your facial skincare regimen and your shampoo and your conditioner. But she was like, I really encourage you to go look at the ingredients and see if it has any of these ingredients on something that Casey and I have as a Never List that we use as a resource to look at all these ingredients. And so I like took the Never List home and I was looking at my ingredients, and there was this one ingredient. Everything looked super good except for this one word named fragrance. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is in my products. And I thought I was doing so good with this, greener company that's plant and science based. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And this is what really opened up my eyes to, like, I thought I was doing good. Like, I thought I was buying plant based, clean. And it was just like, no, like these companies, it's marketing. They try to make you feel like you're making a better decision, like you're making a better choice because you're not going out and buying the Walmart brand. But, they can still put in a word like fragrance and hide up to like 3,000 toxic chemicals in that word.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty crazy. Like that's how I really, really got introduced to this toxic environment that we live in and basically everything that's in our skincare and, everything around us. So that's just a
so
little
that's
story.
actually, it's called greenwashing is like the technical term. What companies that, like, I don't want to name any names, but there's some companies that have this, I guess kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like reputation of being super green and organic, super friendly, all of that kind of stuff, but they're really not. And it's just straight up marketing.
Yeah, that's exactly the story. Yeah, I was exactly what I was just saying. So crazy. So look at your stuff, guys. Check it out. Even though you're like, no, I go to Whole Foods, I go to Sprouts, I'm buying organic, I know I'm doing good. Trust me, I was buying some hippie deodorant from Sprouts and it was like all natural organic. I was like, I'm doing awesome. No aluminum. Yeah, girl. And I went and looked at it after Casey told me about this fragrance in the Never List, and I checked it out and it had just the word fragrance in there, again, in my deodorant. Beyond, just the word fragrance in this like green plant and science-based company that I was using. It was in my deodorant too. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what else is it in? A lot of stuff. So check out your stuff. And it was nuts. So I don't know. That's really what opened up my eyes to switching to obviously a lot cleaner, safer options than I was already using, which I already thought were clean and safe, which weren't. So
yeah.
But that's just, a little fun fact about kind of what flipped my world upside down. So things that you can do to lighten your toxic load or eliminate these toxins in your environment as to the best of the ability, right? Everything that you can control. So the first thing that Casey and I want to talk about is food storage containers. So glass versus plastic, you guys, it's really important. So I know it might be inconvenient to carry around glass because you feel like it's going to break or whatever, but it makes a huge, huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
So BPA found in plastic. And one note too is even if you're buying plastic and you're like, but it says BPA free, it's still made with plastic molecules that have been heated up in a factory. And when you put your food in there, even if, you heat it up in a microwave or you don't, you just eat it cold, your food is still having contact with those chemical compounds and they are getting into your food and you're eating them. Yeah. So whether it's BPA free or not, I know, I know it adds some flavor to your lunch, but we're moving away from it. So, guys, so glass all the way around. And most of the glass Tupperware is going to have plastic lids. I mean, I cannot find anything that has glass on glass. But you're doing better putting your food in a glass dish with just a plastic lid. And of course, if you're going to heat it up in a microwave, which we're going to have another discussion about in a minute, but if you need to heat it up or you feel like you have to, take off the plastic lid and take it out of the microwave, obviously.
In terms of switching over to glass, like if people are concerned about the cost of it or anything like that, just start small. Start with replacing one container that you use every day for your lunch and switch it over to a glass one. Or, I use tons of jars from products that I've used up, like the jar that my sauerkraut comes in. I have tons of those that I will just store my leftover food products. And, I even got some, I think it was like Target or Costco, and they're really not all that expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex and I ordered a bunch off Amazon.
Hmm.
And so we got like a pack of like 3 or 5. And then we got like the little square ones that we use for lunch. And then we also got a bunch of the circle ones that we put leftovers in and just like random, leftovers and stuff like that,
Hmm.
littler, smaller things. So yeah, check them out. You can totally get them. They are available. And then the other thing too is, beyond like food storage container stuff, you also have to think about your water bottles.
Oh, yeah.
So I went on Amazon and I wish I had the water bottle sitting next to me, but I don't. It's
I have
in
mine. I got a Swell bottle.
That's awesome. Those are good too.
Yeah, which
Um
is, it's actually such a cool company. It's a women-owned company,
mhm.
and she started it because she read some, I can't even remember it right now. I'll look it up, but some crazy stat about how many water bottles end up in our landfills every year.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was looking into water bottles, and that was actually one of the companies that I was looking into. And I ended up getting something that starts with an E. I'll have to look it up. Oh, Lo. I think that's what it is. Lo water
Oh, okay.
bottle. Anyways, it's made out of glass. So I really like it. And it's got like a little silicone wrap around it. So I don't feel like it's super vulnerable, which is
Oh,
nice.
nice. Yeah.
Uh-huh. But yeah, so I know it's so easy, especially for really outdoorsy people that are hiking, camping, living in Boulder, Colorado. Nalgenes are a really big popular thing. I used to be a total Nalgene girl, like Nalgene everywhere, and
Oh,
they're made
yeah.
they're made out of plastic. So just think about what you're drinking out of too. Look into that.
Yeah.
And really, the really main reason why we're emphasizing this so much is because research has linked exposure to BPA to be linked to fertility problems, male impotence, heart disease, and other conditions. So this is not something to be taken lightly. It's there's a reason why we're saying this.
Yeah. I was still trying to find the stat, but I can't find it. So I'm going to let it go.
Oh, for
For,
swell.
yeah, how many millions and just like ginormous amounts of plastic bottles.
Well, think about what is it? There's like two trash can piles, the size or two trash can piles the size of Texas each, floating around the ocean. I think.
Wow.
What? Yeah, have you never heard that?
I have, but I just
Okay.
kind of forgot about it.
Okay. I know it was up to two a while ago. I don't know, obviously, how much it's grown from there, but
Yeah.
sad. Yeah.
Texas is big.
Yeah,
For
Texas is
those of you who don't
huge.
know your geography, Texas.
It's really big. Yeah, I know that's another thing. My mom used to be like she used to buy a carton of water bottles
Hmm.
and a case of water bottles, I should say, and she would throw it in her trunk and she would drive around with it in her car and she's like, "I'm doing good. I'm drinking bottled water." And I'm like, "Mother, you are buying water that's sitting in plastic and then it's sitting in your car and it's being heated up.
Hmm.
Plastic is leaching into your water, and then you are drinking that toxic leached water. And then you're also being extremely wasteful on chugging water bottles all day. And then whether you're recycling them or throwing them away, obviously recycling is going to be better for the environment than just tossing them in the trash, but you're still creating waste that someone else has to deal with.
Yeah.
So I quickly have got her not doing that anymore, but I still see clients in the office all the time. I'm like, I always have the conversation with them about how it's important about what kind of water they're drinking and making sure they're drinking filtered water, especially with people with fertility issues.
Hmm.
It's like, what's in your water? So I've got girls that are like, oh, I do really good. I drink bottled water. I'm like, I've had the conversation with them that I
Sorry.
had with my mom. Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm going to kill that fun right now.
Yeah. Not to be the party pooper, but you can do better.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really important.
All
Really
right. So now
important.
that we've talked all about BPA, let's talk about killing your microwave.
Mm.
So there was this really interesting study that Megan just told me about with plants that were getting microwaved water versus just regular filtered
Mm-hmm.
water. And Megan, I'll let you talk a little bit more about the study since you're more familiar with it, but I was shocked. at just how quickly
Okay.
went
Yeah.
downhill for
So
these poor plants.
yeah, it's pretty nuts. So I heard about this, oh gosh, a really long time ago. I mean, the study that I'm talking about was done in 2006 by a little girl that just did a science fair project, and it went like viral because it was such important information. It was like, whoa, you guys, we need to look and see what our microwaves are really doing to us. So I can't tell you. I mean, I don't even own a microwave in the house that I live in. There is not a microwave here, and I have
That's
not
awesome.
used and I have not used a microwave in years and years and years, and people at my work think I'm so weird because I won't heat up my food, and I'm like, I'm scared of the microwave, honestly. Like, I don't want to use it. But so this science fair project was done by this little girl, and she basically took two plants. She actually took clippings and plants, so there was, multiple test studies going on. But what she did is she took filtered water and divided it into two parts. And so with one plant, she microwaved the filtered water and then watered the plant with the microwave filtered water. And then with the other plant, she just watered it with the plain old, good old filtered water. So the clippings, just plant clippings, she just put them, like, wrapped the end in a paper towel, wet paper towel, stuck it in a vase, filled the vase up with one with microwave purified water and one with just purified water. And within 1 week, the clippings from the microwave water had actually started to die and wilt. The leaves looked really sad and droopy and kind of super dark green. And then the purified water clippings actually were really perky, doing super well, looked, radiant and beautiful, just a healthy little clipping. So that was just 1 week for a plant clipping. Um, and then the other kind of, study that she did, or I guess test subject you could call it, was she actually had like a little plant that was growing. So it was a new plant. It was, not super big. And she wanted to measure the growth on the plant. So there were two of the same plants, and they were about the same age, same height, all that kind of good stuff. So one, same thing. She microwave purified water and watered one of the plants with the microwave purified water. And then the other plant, she just gave regular, good old purified filtered water. And so by day 3, the plant that was being microwaved, given microwaved water, started to look droopy and sad, and the plant that was given just purified water looked great. It was just growing. It was super green and perky. Everything looked good. By day 5, there was a noticeable difference in the plant that was given the microwave water, in like how it had even started to look even more sad, and the leaves were droopy and it was getting super dark green, kind of how plants look when they're starting to die. And day 5, the purified water plant was like looking good, looking great. And then same thing by day 7, the microwaved water plant, all of the leaves had like basically just drooped on the ground and the thing was pretty much dead. And the purified water plant was doing great. It was growing. And by day 9, the microwaved water plant had completely died, and the purified water plant was growing.
That picture is just so sad.
So if that doesn't tell you what a microwave does to our food, I don't know what does.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the microwave is just, it's leaching the nutrients out of our food.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's not good. So funny story, there was this article in, gosh, I think I was maybe 18 months old, and the local newspaper in Colorado Springs did an article on my mom about her like craftiness and her cooking. And they asked her what her favorite cooking method was, and she said using my microwave.
Oh
Because
my
I mean, this
gosh.
was like 84. Yeah, 84. I would have been 18 months old. And I mean, it was like, the new cool thing. So that was her favorite cooking tool, was the microwave.
Wow. I think
Yeah.
if you, it's crazy to see how times have changed. I think if you asked me what my favorite kitchen tool would be, I would have to say a stand mixer.
Ooh,
They're
mine's the
fun.
Instant Pot.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I just think the stand mixer is so fun. Like, I
It
don't know.
is. Yeah, that and the food processor. I really like
Yeah.
the food
The
processor.
food processor is a pain in the butt to clean, though.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So
So don't use.
segueing right into food processors.
Well, I mean, so just to relate, you guys, if you cannot use a microwave, that's going to be your best option.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can throw it away, get rid of it, give it to a friend. I just heat everything up in a skillet or a little pot. I mean, whatever it is that I'm heating up, or if it needs to just go on a baking pan and put it back in the oven, it's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, we use ours occasionally just to heat up coffee.
That's when you use your pot, Casey.
I know. But then, okay, so do you have any creative solutions when I am at my part-time job and there is no stove?
Those are one of the times where you just bite the bullet and use the microwave, or you drink cold coffee and you get
just suck it up and drink cold coffee.
Yeah, you get creative with it. I mean, I eat my lunch cold at work, so
I eat my lunch cold too. I won't heat it up.
Yeah.
But there's just, I don't know, something about the cold coffee.
I know. Warm's always better. Our work makes warm coffee. I don't know if anyone at your office does. Maybe you have maybe you could bring a coffee pot. I don't know.
Well, they have a Keurig, but I'm not going to touch that.
Okay. I got you.
Talk about toxic. Ugh.
Yeah. Mold containing coffee and all that other kind of good stuff.
Where you're poking through aluminum with hot water and then it's going through plastic, just infusing that coffee with
yum. Yes. Yeah. Let's stay away from that.
Yeah.
I'd rather you use the microwave.
Exactly. Oh, goodness.
You just can't win. This is the toxic environment that we live in, you guys.
Seriously.
So sad.
So, and our other piece that we wanted to chat about today is something that is called the Clean Swap campaign. So, Beautycounter is putting this on, and they have identified 6 products that are some of our worst offenders in terms of products that have really harmful ingredients in them. So, these are like an eye cream, a mascara, a body wash, shampoo and conditioner, that counts as one, mascara, and lipstick. So a lot of times these products are going to have toxic chemicals, harsh surfactants, mineral oil, lead, as we mentioned earlier, hormone disrupting, and potentially carcinogenic products or ingredients contained within these products. So something that is really cool, and it's just, so much education when it comes to swapping out these 6 products that Beautycounter is actually offering when you purchase one of these products that you can just swap out. Like, let's say the next time you run out of mascara, you're like, hey, you know what? Let me try something a little bit safer. Let me just swap it out. When you make a purchase right now, you can enjoy a free sample, which is super cool, I think, because you're getting something safer, and then you get to try another product. That way you can fall even more in love.
Yeah, and switch out your old stuff to safer stuff.
Yeah, and that's just kind of, I guess, what you would say our kind of like overall theme of this podcast is, or this episode is really, just start making swaps where you can. We're not saying go ahead and throw out every single cleaning product that you have right now and all of your plastic containers. It's like next time you go to the store, buy a glass container or put your lunch in a leftover jar. Something like that. It's really easy to just start making some of these simple swaps. That way it's just not ridiculously overwhelming.
Yeah. You have to keep it simple on yourself. Exactly what Casey's talking about. As things run out, buy better options. You're listening to this podcast, so you are in the know about toxins and our toxic environment and making safer decisions for you and your family. So just as time goes on, just start swapping stuff out. And on that note, kind of just one thing that you can also use to help you determine, I guess, how toxic your products are is, so Casey and I talk a lot about an app called the Environmental Working Group app. So you guys can all download this app by the EWG. It's called Healthy Living on the App Store. And you can scan all of your current household products, your cleaners, your laundry detergent, your shampoo, conditioner, all that kind of good stuff that has a scanner barcode. And you can see how toxic it is on a level from 1 to 10, 1 being the least toxic. So it's green. That's where you want it. 0 or 1. And I believe, and then 10 is like the worst. So even things that are like in the 4 and 5 range, you want to throw out and get rid of. So download the app, check out your stuff, and if you want to start swapping out your products and learning about safer ingredients, you can of course message Casey and I, either one of us, and we can help you out with product recommendations to send to you directly.
Yep.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you have a 10, like on the environmental working group app, just burn it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And on that note too, so Casey talked a little bit earlier about how she got picked to be a Beautycounter representative, to kind of go to Congress and try to, be a voice to make a change for these safer skincare laws. And so one thing that Beautycounter is also doing, so you can actually show your support in a couple of ways. So right now they have a red color intense lipstick that you can get. And if you buy 2, you actually get $10 off, which is awesome. And then you can also text Better Beauty to 52866 just to ask Congress to act on these harmful chemicals in our personal care products, which is super simple. I mean, I'm just trying to give you guys this little way that you can show your support by just texting Better Beauty to that 52886 number.
Yeah.
I mean, the more people they hear, the more prone we are to get a move on this.
The squeaky wheel gets the most oil.
Exactly. So that's what we're trying to do here for you guys. It's just really important. But yeah, so download the app, check out your household products, see what you're working with.
Yep. Throw your microwave out the window.
Yeah. Do what you can, guys. That's the important thing.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to this week's show. If you want to learn more, you can find us online. Megan can be found at megangump.com or on Instagram at megan.gump. You can find me, Casey Poe Campbell, at caseypoe.com or on Instagram at realtalkcasey. See you guys there. Thanks for tuning in.